Some people could also say, perhaps for the reason of maybe not security quite, but you know, you don't want to be preempted, as it were, so that people don't begin to get ideas while they are being screened. You also want to be able to give those people some measure of protection. Do you think that that also comes in?
It could be plausible. Yeah, it could be plausible, because I know that in a more corrupt climate, if you say a guy is going to be Minister of Finance, more expectation could come from that. So it may be a valid point, but I've not thought about it.
But now that they've gone ahead, I mean, the president, speaking about fighting corruption, he's declared his assets.
His own way.
That win the fray.
I think could have been on this program or a sister station that took me on after my program here in terms of a declaration of assets. I said, well, I think he has put the first foot right. The CPC, you know, the Bureau for Code of Conduct, you know, should go through. Because nothing stops me. If you call me now, okay, Dr. Soluka, you are going to be a minister. Perhaps I have 2 houses. You ask me to declare my assets. I declare 15 houses in anticipation. Do you get what I mean?
So that is why it must be double checked by the
I think he did the correct thing.
But
so
some people say it is belated. Some say it's belated.
It's not belated. No, it's a 4-year term.
Because first of all, we're looking at the publicity of it, and we're also looking at the content of the assets. And some people say it doesn't make much meaning. I mean, we can't even say this is how much the president is worth, because we don't even know how many shares he has in these companies that he says he has shares, what the worth of his houses are. You know, these kinds of questions are coming up. Are they relevant?
They could be relevant. You can't tell me you have a piece of land when I don't know if it is 15 acres or 1,000 square meters. So I think these specifics could be attached. And with the Freedom of Information Bill, when something is let out in the open or in public, it's very, very difficult to retract or to take it back. Yeah, you're right. I'll be interested to know whether my house is at Ekpaja or my house is on Lagos Island. If I have a house in Marina, I'm a big man, even if it is
hot. but the thing is this, you know, people also say, do you see any downsides to this?
I see normally I like looking at the
upsides,
the sunny side. It's a lesson that any minister who is coming up must declare his assets. Even when he doesn't say it, Nigerians can clamor because your guy has declared his asset. Wait him be your own. You know, that kind of thing.
We should be asking governors now, should they? You think governors too should follow suit?
I think so.
Even though some of them said, look, well, that's the president.
Some of them are rich. But I don't see, if your conscience is clear, even if you're a rich guy, take a Dangote being the president, he tells you that he has 20 billion. The important thing is, it gives you a measurement that when you leave office, some guy will say, okay, you still have the 20 billion, you have not corruptly enriched yourself. You are not reporting yourself for the fake or heck of it. You're only setting a parameter that when I'm going to leave office, because they're expected to declare the asset again when they leave office, and it is the job of the same bureau to make sure, and that's where the whistleblowers will play more important role. Do you get what I mean? It's where, say, oh, look, don't mind him. I can identify 15 houses owned by this man.
That's when they see that form. That's asset declaration form.
That is why what the president has done, even if it has not been...
It's a submission.
Even if it's not been done in full, could be indicated.
The governor say it's a personal decision. It's a personal decision.
Yeah, it's not a constitutional matter.
But, you know, we're looking at the capacity also of the Code of Conduct Bureau. Because here we are, if we say that I think it was just a day or two after the president was sworn into office, quite a number of groups started reminding him of his promise to publicly declare his assets.
Yes.
And then we had a response from one of the spokespersons saying that the Code of Conduct Bureau is yet to verify the assets of the president. And so they cannot, they're waiting for them to fully verify. When they're done, they'll make the assets public. But a couple of days to 100 days, the assets were given to the public, even though the asset declaration form was given to the public, even though the Code of Conduct Bureau was yet to fully verify. They say as soon as they're done fully verifying it, the entire copy will be made available. It does say something about the capacity of the Code of Conduct Bureau, don't you think?
Now, you look at it the other way. A former minister in this country once said that if something happened and the press decided that it didn't happen, it never happened. If something didn't happen and the press said it happened, it happened. This is for effect, perception of governance. And part of leadership is rhetoric, narrative. If you can't come with a good narrative, you're not a good leader. Gone are the days when dumb guys, you know, that kind. If you're a dumb guy, you could go on a detailed stuff. But communication is very key, especially the integrity and profile you've built for yourself. You know, you don't want a president who will go amongst others, and if a discussion takes place, even if it wants to discuss, he won't be, you know, gainfully, you know, engaged.
How does that come in here?
Rhetoric and narrative. So what I'm telling you is, you were talking about why should they bring the asset. Now, of course, they are building a hype. Governance is hype. Do you get what I mean? Whether you like it or not, government is more or less a masquerade. After all, people like you and I, tomorrow you can be a minister. There's nothing that has drastically changed. The only thing that changes, one, the flow of information at your disposal. And you learn to be more circumspect. It's not everything you see that you announce.
So in other words, it's possible that the Code of Conduct Bureau has gone through all the assets and done their job. Is that what you're saying?
I said, if you recall, that is indicative, because you raise a silent point. The silence being, the value of that house was not given.
In the summation that was published?
Usually, the value of the house ought to be given. Do you get what I mean?
I think there are two things. We don't know if it was given in the form that was submitted to the CCB, but the ones that was made public by the president's spokespersons, the summation, just the summation, they didn't, those specific details, that's why people are asking questions, as they thought that they were also required by law to disclose the assets of their wards who are above 18. Some of those were also not there, but with the CCB, it may have been.
It could be there. You go there, you could be there. There's no law that enjoins them to publish.
I'm just a little worried. I mean, if we say, if this is hype, and they say that the Code of Conduct Bureau is yet to fully verify all the assets, and when they're done fully verifying it, you have to ask, if we're talking about the president and his vice, okay, perhaps all the governors too had to declare their assets.
No, but if you watch, sorry, I don't know what I'm, apart from the houses you said, in terms of money in the bank, it was specific.
Yes.
One said 30 million naira and $900,000 or something. It was quite specific.
Yeah, for those monies, what we're saying is, when you look at a list of assets like that, and you're wondering, how long will it take the Code of Conduct to verify these assets? And you're told that in 100 days they haven't been fully verified. Shouldn't we ask questions about the capacity of the Code of Conduct?
You could, but let me give you an idea about the number of public officers in Nigeria. You have 36 state assemblies. The minimum is 24 members. Some could be 40, 42. Right? You have 469 members of National Assembly. We are talking of elected officers. And the Code of Conduct is not just for elected officers. You get to a certain level, or you are appointed to a certain position, you enjoy to... let us not be too critical. If we are looking for a marking scheme, yes, they must fulfill all righteousness, but it's a good start.